I started cutting my own hair, as I always do. I've been cutting my own hair for a long time. I started cutting it and just kind of like got bored and bailed out in the middle, so I have a really crazy hairdo. I don't really care. What I care about is my inability to drop my circuses. And then, you know, that's when the about a bread and circus idea, where you give them bread and circus and they will never revolt. I have way too many circuses. You know, I'm like into too many things. And even that has been weaponized against me in this day and age. Well, at least against my people. My people. Hey, that's what it is. I still can't get over the fact that I'm using terminology like that in current year. But that's fucking, you know, they're making a big push to end whiteness in these times. So it's tough. It's everywhere. It's a many-pronged attack, and it's in everything I try to take my mind off the spiritual warfare with, whether it's comic books or movies or the things that have always kind of brought me comfort throughout my life to escape from. There's nowhere to run anymore. It's everywhere. DC Universe is been taken over by a guy named James Gunn. I don't know if you know about any of this, I don't know if you care about any of this, but he's a regular Hollywood guy. He did Guardians of the Galaxy, and his one trick, his thing is getting a group of misunderstood misfits together and making them into a real family. Not like the families that you have in the world where you have a father and a son. Those aren't real families. You mean your real family, other degenerates, possible criminals. You know, people like I used to be. I was a found family guy for like many years. That played right into my warehouse. Right into my warehouse. I should say real house, but from now on I'm going to say warehouse because that's fucking hilarious. But let me ponder how terrible things have gotten in the circus world while I go into Waikiki market and hopefully find a sympathetic food person that can help me see my order through to the end. I'm supposed to be getting dinner from here, but the place I was going to is closed, so as I await further instructions, I'll tell you a little bit more about my circus issue. So, yeah, I've been a comic book fan for many years. I talk about it here. I worked in the comic book industry for many years in every capacity except creative. I worked for Diamond Comic Distributors. I was a retailer. I used to do shows. I had 3 different retail businesses. Not because I was good at them, because I was terrible and kept opening a new store and opening a new store. Traveled a lot around the country, selling, buying, whatever. Heavily involved in the comic book thing most of my life. That's how I learned to read. And I learned to read because my dad was a businessman. So he was very busy, which is, I fucking love my dad. I spent just enough time with him. In fact, I gotta call him soon. But yeah, he would read me comics when he was home. And you know, I was a little kid, like 5 or 6 or something. And he would have the comics laid out and he would be reading them to me. And when he wasn't around, I'd become frustrated because I didn't fucking know what these guys were saying. I mean, they were just beating the shit out of each other, but I wanted to know why. I want to know what the issue was between them, you know, because it makes it more exciting. See professional wrestling. So through that, I started to just remember words and sound them out. And I literally learned to read with Black Panther and Thor and Captain America. I learned that Black Panther taught me about social issues, actually. I thought that reading this comic, Jungle Action, number 55, when the Klan had him fucking hoisted up on a burning cross. And they didn't do too much of this like race shit back then. It wasn't like it is now. So it was kind of rare. But they had him fight the Klan. I thought they were just Black Panther villains. When I started seeing them in fucking in history books and stuff, I was like, oh shit, these guys are real? But Yeah, so, I don't know, I've always had comic books around me. If you've been up to the Batcave, well, you have been. I mean, if you haven't actually physically been, you know what the fuck I'm saying. If you've seen the Batcave, you know. I got an unhealthy obsession with fucking tchotchkes. But, yeah, I've been following this new DC universe under writer James Gunn, producer, movie maker. He's kind of a fucking weirdo. You know, he got in trouble for a couple years ago for making some pedo jokes. I don't know. I didn't think it was that big of a deal because I've known people that joke like that were not pedos. You know, they're just trying to be funny. So I just took it as some bad humor that people jumped on, whatever. But he is a fucking weirdo. Like, I've been watching his new show, Peacemaker. I've been watching the after show podcast. And every episode, at least one time, he gets into this he starts talking about sex in a really uncomfortable, awkward way, and everybody on the panel gets really weirded out by it, and he'll sit there giggling about something that, these are adults, like these are actors, people that have been in Hollywood, you know, and he'll talking about butt fucking, or like just really things you talk about in high school, and I'm like, what the fuck is with this guy? Why is he like this? But looking at him, you're like, well, this is why he fucking can make it in Hollywood. He's a little fucking pervert. It's funny, like I can't think of a good example right now, of course, but just watch an episode, you see what I mean? Every episode they'll start talking about something really awkward, sexually, and everybody's got to be like, okay, well, he's the boss, so, okay. It's like he gets off on it or something. It's fucking really gross. But anyway, I'm watching the show, which takes place in the DC universe, which is a place where they had that last summer's Superman movie is tied into this, which I like the Superman movie. It was goofy, and the worst part about it was their take on Superman. He was like a millennial. He was a terrifying Superman. He's the scariest Superman ever, because he's highly emotional. He's super sensitive. Very like, he'll snap to aggression and he yells. Like, he's kind of a black person. Like, you can't like really talk to him and say something he doesn't want to hear. He's frightening. He's very scary. So yeah, I didn't like that portrayal of Superman. I think the guy that did it was a good actor, and he tried to make him good. There's some behind the scenes footage of he's like talking to James Gunn, like, yeah, I don't know, you know, this should be the moment in the film. He's talking about a speech at the end of the film where Superman finally figures out what he is and what matters, and he's going to face off against Lex Luthor. And usually in this kind of scenario, you'd have Superman be in a calm tone, being like, yeah, well, you're wrong about me, Lex. I have this and that. And Lex is freaking out. No, that's how Coin Sweat wants to play it. Because he's like, well, haven't I reached the point now where I understand all these things? And James Gunn's like, no. You see, there are thoughts and there are feelings. And you can have thoughts, but you still have feelings. I'm like, this guy's making this shit up on the spot, isn't he? So he sent him back out there to whine like a fucking millennial. And he goes out there to Lex Luthor. When you say stuff like that, Lex, it hurts my feelings. And he's screaming. You know, again, terrifying Superman. You know, this guy has godlike power. He could flick his fucking finger and turn you to dust. And he, like I said, he's highly emotional. He's unstable. Very sensitive. He goes, and it reveals he goes around the internet looking at what people say about him. And when Lois brought up a particular hashtag, he fucking lost it. You know, I hate that one. What the fuck? And he didn't say what the fuck, but he starts screaming. Like, that's not like Superman. He's really, really emotional. Where am I going here? I'm going over here. I'm going down here. Always be aware of your surroundings, boys. Take no chances. So, and now we can go back. Yeah, now we go back. So, I mean, but other than that, I thought it was good. Like, the movie was good. It was like a very comic booky. Whatever, it's goofy. It's goofy as fuck. It wasn't as like, you know, you look at the Zack Snyder stuff, and I'm not a Snyder occultist or whatever, but I enjoy his stuff. And it can be a little too dour, a little too serious. I watched the recently. I watched the extended edition of Batman v Superman, and there's like the first hour of that thing is kind of boring. There's nothing going on. There's a lot of talk and a lot of setup, and it's like when it gets to the end, it gets moving. But by the time it gets moving, it's like, all right, well, I'm no longer invested in this. I just spent an hour, like, you know, trying to stay awake. But I thought his Justice League, his one he got to finish, that was 4 hours, was fucking fantastic. It was like the fucking greatest superhero movie I'd ever seen. It might be one of the best movies I've ever seen. That's right. See, I know people will be like, how can Zack Snyder's Justice League one of the best movies I've ever... I'm not one of those film snob people. I don't think film is that important. You know, like, there's a lot more things going on in the world. I don't give a shit. You know, people like, to feel like what I watch for movies defines my taste as a human being. I care about that shit. It's not high art. I don't care. It's cinema. It's a fucking movie. Fuck you. Okay, so anyway, I liked it. It was all right, you know. But so I liked what he was doing, and then he has this show on HBO Max called Peacemaker. I gotta light this up Sunday. I've been holding this, walking around like a fucking lunatic. And I'm still waiting for Nia to call me with what she wants for dinner. But until then, you're stuck with me. So, I'm watching this, I've been watching this thing. I watched it last season. He's done 2 seasons of this. And, you know, there's a lot of crassness to it. Sex jokes. Very, like, National Lampoon, his version of the DC Universe. You know, he had Lex Luthor on last night's episode talking about butt fucking a twink. It's like, oh god, dude, just enough with the butt fucking. It's like he's fascinated with that shit. It's like I guess I was never fascinated with that stuff, but the time would have been like freshman year maybe, you know, or middle school. You giggle about that stuff. This guy's a full-on adult, still fucking hypnotized by the butt sex. That's all he fucking talks about. But anyway. So now, because he's in charge of all these wonderful characters that have been around for many, many decades, that we've all come to accept as part of Americana, now that he controls what comes out of their mouth, there's a lot of butt sex talk so Lex Luthor talking about butt sex. But anyway, the character of Peacemaker is this like anti-hero type of guy. He was originally a Charlton Comics character. DC bought out Charlton Comics, and with it came a lot of their characters. Some were repurposed for the Watchmen comic and story. That's actually a whole nother fucking situation. I like Watchmen. I like the Watchmen movie. I like the Watchmen movie more than the comic. What do you think about that? Think about that for a minute. What? What are you gonna do about it? So, yeah, I'm watching this show, and this season, not to get into I'm going to give you the short version here. The protagonist, the main guy, Peacemaker, gets access to other dimensions, and he finds a dimension in this sort of dimensional closet thing, MacGuffin thing, that lets him go to other alternate versions of his world. So he finds one where everything's fucking perfect. Seemingly, everything's perfect. His family, who was killed in this one, is alive. Everybody loves him as a hero. He's with the girl he likes in the regular world. So everything's perfect, right? And when you go into town, everything's clean. Everything's orderly. People are happy. It reminds me of like my sort of suburban life in the 1980s. You know, safe. There's no one hanging out on the corners that, you know, look like they're gonna fucking R&R you, you know. And I did notice there's not a lot of diversity there, but who the fuck cares? Like, if that is that your litmus test for a good fucking society? Like, if it's too many white people, it's not good. Well, that's exactly what it turned out to be, because what they discover is that, I guess, Hitler won World War II. Of course, it's so fucking they're so hypnotized by this Nazi thing. These people on the left, it's Hitler's living up there, fucking rent free in these people's heads. So they discover this is the Nazi world where Hitler has won World War II, blah blah blah. So now they realize, oh, this is awful. This is a nightmare world. They describe it in the most extreme ways possible, and now they got to get out of there. And I'm looking at this place, and I'm like, do they though? Everyone's happy. There's no crime. Everything's clean. Looks beautiful. Yeah, there's no diversity, but would you trade diversity for basically idyllic, perfect society? I think when you're a left-brain Trump TDS person in that group of James Gunn and his group, Hollywood people, they would never, ever conceive that someone would choose that. Safe, nice, clean, a better quality of life if it's run by racists. Now, to a lot of people that are on the fucking fence even, right? They would pick that fucking world. No, I mean, I want the world like we have here, where, we're worried about women walking down the street. That's much better, right? Our world that looks like Marrakesh, our cities that are full of fentanyl, hobos, and all kinds of different races from the darker continents that are violent and fucking, that's much better, right? Because, hey, at least we're not racist. It's the fucking stupidest thing ever. And just the idea, these people have an idea that they couldn't comprehend that someone else would look at this and go, hey, that's pretty good. Get rid of the people that want to murder me? I don't know. I call that a win. I'm not going to get stabbed in the neck on the bus, right? I mean, that's not going to happen. That's, because the people that aren't found in that society, that don't seem to be in that society, hate me and my people and the people that were in that idyllic society. They hate them. They want them dead. And they are currently, in current day, waging asymmetrical warfare on us. If you look at the statistics, they're just straight up murdering us. And they're backed by, well, in Africa right now, in South Africa, it's more blatant. It's like, it's policy to kill white people down there right now. There's an ethnic cleansing going on. So, the fact that they're presenting this in a way like, oh no, they know there's racists here. Now we got to get out of here. Let's get out. Hurry up. We got to go back to this world, which is so much better. What it demonstrates to me minds that are locked in a bubble that are slaves to the Donald Trump spell, right? I mean, because it was a spell. This is spellcraft. That's why people reacted to him the way they did. He's a filthy fucking magic user. All the presidents are. This is all magic. They all cast spells. They don't create the spells. The spells are created by the dark forces behind them. It takes a lot of sacrifice and a lot of fucking blood because they don't have the divine power that we do as people, so as beings. So they have to do a lot of sacrifice to work up the kind of energy to make these things happen they want. That's a whole other issue, though. But that whole ideology has infected every corner of what used to be something I would use to escape from the bullshit in the world. And a lot of people agree with me. You go on Twitter and look, a lot of memes about the perfect dimension, that it is a perfect dimension. It's just there's no black people. So it makes people think like, well, I don't know, is that a bad trade? No, of course it's not a bad trade. It's a fucking... If I got a dimension that was shitty, but didn't have them in it, it would still be better. Hey, what's going on, buddy? Hi. Hold on a second. How you doing?
I'm okay.
How's today going, all right?
Yeah.
Let me give you a cigarette.
So when
Do you need a lighter?
Yeah.
Let me light you up.
When I said My real name is ABCDE.
Yeah.
Because I was going for the tobacco hay.
Hold on, let me go.
Precinct.
Yeah, there we go.
Yeah. So the next one was elemental P twice. Yeah.
What about QRS?
Oh God, that was I remember time, but hey, I know that person.
And then there's TUV.
Yeah.
And then there's WX. Y. And what do we end with? Z. Z. WXYZ. That's how it works. Z.
That has
Has a what?
They have games and stuff. Yeah.
What?
Games.
Oh, games? Yeah.
They're like, oh God, so you get to the next tower as like a dragon, like the dark crystal.
Oh, the Dark Crystal.
Yeah.
That was a great show. You know, that's kind of like a documentary because those people are really out there. They live in Israel. I'm going to buy some ice cream.
Oh, yeah.
Good seeing you, bud. Have a good day. Let me turn this off. I don't want to walk around filming here. Get Muslims upset at me. I don't know. I shouldn't be too hard on Gunn, though, despite being a pervert with the mind of a 14-year-old. If I was him, right, maybe I'd have the same disposition, too. If I lived in this Hollywood bubble world of money where the only non-whites you deal with are professional people working in the movie industry, so they have to behave to a certain point. When they don't, you know, we all see that. Would I be like him? I probably would, because I'd have no reason to understand what's happening in the real world. I'd never go looking beyond, you know, maybe I would be the same kind of person, you know, because they live in a bubble. Like they go from one place to another. They're only ever surrounded by people of their level. And when I say their level, they live above the unwashed masses. They don't fucking do what we do. And they think of themselves that way too. That's the reason why they are. That's the reason they are the way they are when it comes to minorities and stuff. They see minorities as like, oh, we have to help those people because they're not as good and smart as we are. So, you know, I mean, whether they're right or not, you know, they still have that attitude, and they act like if you don't share that attitude, you're the bad man. They're not dealing with they're living in the real world. So, hold on a second. I gotta kind of reach for something here. Yeah, it's fucked up. But I'm just trying to watch the fucking show to take my mind off all that shit. And I know it's going to be in there. I know they force that stuff in there in current year. And there's really no escaping it. But when something is done in such a obvious and galling fashion that runs counter to everything I know to be true and real, it just, I mean, it shocks me in a way. It shouldn't, though. Like, and then trying to, I mean, the way the people that think this way, like if you object to this whole concept, like, well, what do you mean? Those people are racist in that world. I know, but everybody seems so happy and no one has to lock their door. You know, no one's going to worry about getting their car carjacked. I mean, doesn't that count for something? Well, did you hear me when I said they're racist? Well, yeah, I heard that. But it is a utopia kind of place where we don't have to worry about anything. We don't have to worry. Do you understand the people, right, that you're advocating for here want to kill me? They want me dead. They want to wipe out my people. Now, you may not understand that. I'm sure a lot of left people would say, no, you don't. You're fucking crazy. It's like, well, you don't understand anything. You haven't even looked into it. You haven't done the research as to what even makes us different. You think we're the same. You think it's just a skin tone. You think it's social construct. It's fucking, you know what I mean? Talking to those people, anything like this is a complete non-starter. You know? But yeah, I kind of knew this whole thing was going to happen, that this twist. Oh, it wasn't really much of a twist. People watching the show kind of knew it. But it's interesting looking at the fallout. For the first time, people are actually talking about the show, which I guess is good for them. But There's a lot of people that agree with me, you know. If that's the trade we had to make, perfect world, safe, clean, very clean, everybody's happy, but we can't have people that want to kill us and hate us. That's not even a trade. You know, like we could get rid of the elements that are dangerous to us, you know, because, I mean, they don't live in the real world. They don't have to live around, you know, these people they're advocating for. They don't know what it's like to have to have your guard up, because there are people in your fucking neighborhood that are a ticking time bomb that go off and attack other people for seemingly no reason. They don't have to live around that element. The only people they know from that background are other professionals working in the industry. I'm sure Tim Meadows is wicked cool. You know? He's not thinking about stabbing you in the neck. Tim Meadows isn't doing that. He's a comedian, successful one. So when you hang around people like that, of course you're gonna have the disposition you do, because you're not connected to the real world in any way, shape, or form. Yeah. So I'm just watching what people are saying about it today, but I'm done with that shit. I'm not watching that again. I'm out of that. I'm out. It got me out, though. I mean, I should have got out of it a while ago, but, you know, old habits. I like stuff, you know. I like this guy right here. He's in like a fighting stance. He's gonna be a problem for anyone that walks by him. You know, like I'll try to avoid him, but sometimes people like this, like, you know, you'll see them around women and children, and then you're like, oh fuck, now I have to fucking risk my life getting in between him and like, look what he's doing. You know, you can't. There's an old lady right here. Alright, weapon in hand, just in case, you never know. Oh, fuck, I didn't bring my weapon. That's okay. I want to move along here. See, because it's, you know, it creates a dangerous situation. You know, there's a lot of tourists here, older people, younger people, kids, old ladies, and you got that kind of thing happening. James Gunn doesn't have to deal with that. He never sees anyone like that. He doesn't have to walk by anyone like that. His mother doesn't have to walk by anyone like that. The younger people in his fucking family don't have to walk by anyone like that. So of course he can sit up there in his fucking dick and fart throne and talk about how bad I am for wanting safety and security. And I'd gladly trade the hordes of people who hate and want to kill me to have a world like that. It's like a fantasy. It's like my fantasy world where I give them Georgia and South Carolina, and we build the big fucking door to bring supplies to them. It's like a fantasy world. Imagine that, like not having a lucky door at night. It used to be that way in the 80s when, you know, living in the suburbs. You know, you knew all your neighbors, and we thought it was, you know, kind of diverse back then. I lived in an Italian area, you know, the Irish people in the Italian area, and they couldn't have been nicer to us. They were really great to us. I'll never forget the way we were treated over there by the Italians. Fucking great, good people, really good people. Always wanted to make sure if we needed anything or we had everything we needed. And, you know, my dad was a businessman, so he was kind of busy. He wasn't good at certain things like that. You know, he could do stuff. But, like, if we're putting in a new bathroom sink, yeah, the Italians are going to come over and make sure that fucking thing's done right. My dad's good at other things. He's also yeah, I don't know. I got to call my dad. I got to call to talk to him. I haven't talked to him in a couple weeks. But anyway, I'm on the way home. Yeah. That's the thing. It's like they're not maintaining their bread and circus is very good. They've been doing this though. I mean, this is going on in the better part of 10 years where they've been filling up our fucking stuff with repugnant shit in like a vain attempt to get us to change our minds or something, or like, you know, just crank it out basically with propaganda. It's just propaganda bullshit. People are done with it though, people are over it. But you know, this is one of the only sort of things I was semi-invested in. It's just that I can't like spend my time looking at the death of Europe, you know, it's too enraging. Everything on YouTube, it's like, oh God, I guess I gotta watch this. Just turn it off. Just turn it off and fucking meditate or something. Anyway, thanks for dropping in. Hopefully see you again soon. Till next time, don't blame the teacher, blame the school.